Okay. Good morning. Good morning and welcome. Thank you all so much for taking the time to join this Empowering Girls Initiative digital conference. I am Jen Dresser, Rotary District's 5520 Women and Girls Empowerment Ambassador. I want to share a quick overview of how the morning will go. You're in the opening session now, which will be followed by the first set of breakouts. We'll have a 30-minute break, followed by the second set of breakout sessions. A short break will follow that. We wanted to make sure you had plenty of breaks, and then the closing for the day. I hope you'll join us for all of it so that you get the value of the live Q&A with our experts, but any time you can spend with us is appreciated and welcome. A little housekeeping. Please be sure to mute your mic. The icon is in the lower left corner of your screen. Don't be offended if we do mute you because of background noise. Just unmute yourself when it's time for Q&A. And also, when we're in the Q&A sections at the end of each breakout, please do raise your hand by clicking reactions and then raise hand. You can feel free to use the chat feature anytime you'd like to make comments silently. Please do use your camera if you're able. We'd like to see your smiling faces. And finally, these sessions will be recorded individually. Each session will have its own recording, and we'll share the links to the individual sessions after the event. So why are we here today? We're here to discuss areas where girls are disproportionately affected. This is not about putting boys down or leaving them behind. This is about raising everyone up together. Last Rotary year, RI President Shekhar Mehta asked Rotary to take on this initiative. It's continued by our current president, Jennifer Jones, and brought into our district by Governor John Drucetto. We want to learn more about the issues girls face, and more importantly, as people of action, how we can help. We want you to get inspired today, and if you're not already doing something related to these topics, we hope you'll start a project or support an organization that's doing this work. And this conference would not have been possible without all of you. So thank you for taking the time. And in addition to our speakers, I'd really like to thank everyone on the committees that worked so hard to make this happen. The planning committee and facilitators met tirelessly every 2 weeks and put in time and talent beyond that to bring the speakers together that you'll hear from today. Our planning committee was Allison Pinnell, Yolanda and Gary King, and Ophelia Maletzko. Next, I'd like to thank the technical team. Having this event virtually has allowed a lot of people to attend who probably otherwise couldn't. So thank you to the tech team for making this possible. Our tech team is Jeff Weinrack, Arturo Barrio, Jesse Allen, Michelle Frechette, and Marshall Poole. I'd like to thank Eric Collins for our beautiful logo and the advertisements on Facebook and our background that you see for some of us today. And I'd also like to thank Danette Wagner for the event management and communication support. And of course, I'd like to thank District Governor John and Director Vicki Pulitz for their ongoing support and for joining us today. So with that, I'll now introduce Governor John Drucetto. John became a member of Rotary in April 1996 while living in Santa Fe. He's held various leadership roles as a member of the Rotary Clubs of Santa Fe Centro, Rio Rancho, New Mexico, Austin Oak Hill, now Southwest Austin, Texas. He's a past president of the Roswell Sunrise Club and a current member of the Roswell Club, and has served District 5520 as Assistant Governor and Lieutenant Governor. John is a multiple Paul Harris Fellow, a member of the Paul Harris Society, and he and his wife Sharon are major donors. And I'd like to turn it over to John now for a few words.
I'm muted. There you go. Thanks, Jen, for that great introduction. Welcome to all of you for joining us for this very first ever Empowering Girls Initiative Conference for District 5520. As Jen has already shared with you, last year, Rotary International President Shekhar Mehta shined one of the spotlights of our own organization on the continuing emphasis of working to empower future generations of females with its Empowering Girls initiative. And that struck at my heartstrings as I have experienced firsthand the inequity of women attempting to fulfill much of what they have felt called to do, not only in the workplace, but in other organizations I've served over the years. Then when the news of Jennifer Jones would be the very first female president of Rotary International, and the fact that it took more than 100 years for that to happen, created that spark that led me to seek out many of the team responsible for today's conference. Their willingness to work on the agenda and put in the extra hours to recruit the impressive list of speakers that we now have, along with the remarkable attendance at this first ever conference of its kind on the district, tells me that this is just as important now as it has been for the past several years. And while we've come a long way in the last couple of decades or so, it also tells me we continue to have more work ahead of us to continue removing or at least reducing the barriers that will help young girls become, as the U.S. Army would say, all that they can be. Thanks to the team who worked tirelessly to bring us to this point today, and thanks to you for making the time to attend. May this conference be just the beginning of many future conversations, but not only that, may we as well see both people and clubs continue as people of action, working to further reduce these barriers while at the same time increasing the opportunities for women of all ages. And these topics are so important. I was just sharing with the group before we started that President Jennifer Jones actually featured this in her message in the February issue of Rotary Magazine. Allow me just to read the last paragraph. She says, quote, "These are exciting times in Rotary, and the world is taking notice. As we work to empower women and girls to step into their full potential, we create new pathways for membership growth and greater collaboration with partners to create positive, lasting change. Thank you for your continued action in this vital effort." Thank you all for being here today. But you didn't sign it up to hear from me. At this time, it's indeed my privilege and honor to be able to introduce you to someone I've been truly fortunate to get to know over the past 3+ years. You have her full bio in your guide that accompanies this conference, so I'm not going to take more time to read all of that to you. But in 1989, Rotary International's Council on Legislation established the phrase "service above self" as Rotary's principal motto because it best conveys the philosophy of unselfish volunteer service. Vicki Poulos lives that motto every day that I've known her. She has been with my class of 30 district governors from our first Zoom meetings when we were district governor nominee designates. And as then she was director-elect, and she's been with us all through our trainings and our zone institutes. Her encouraging and down-to-earth approach has not only allowed our class to be the best that we can be, but to also strive to do great things through our respective districts. But she has not only been working with our class of governors, she's also been working with your district governor-elects, district governor nominees, district governor nominee designates, while at the same time training her replacement, Director-elect Dan Himmelsbach. And that's not to mention the other things she does for Rotary International, for her spouse, Tim, her family, and more. So when the planning committee for this conference asked me if I would ask her to be part of today's events, I was again honored to. So allow me simply to say thank you, Vicki, for making the time to be with us this Saturday morning, and earlier there than it is here in the Mountain Time Zone. And I'll ask all of you attending this conference to give a very warm digital welcome for Rotary International Director for Zones 26 and 27, Vicki Poulos. Vicki, the mic is yours.
Thank you so much, John. Those were very kind words, and I really appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. It is so wonderful to be with you today as we explore how we can work together in Rotary to remove barriers that are holding back girls and women. We want to unlock their power and their potential to be happy, healthy, confident, independent, and to be transformational leaders in their families, in their communities, and for the world. I think you would agree that we need all the problem solvers we can get, regardless of gender, of age, of other demographics or characteristics. Now, it might be easier for us to see challenges to girls and women when we look at regions outside of North America. But even in the United States, girls and women face unique challenges that require a different approach and special focus. This focus to take on these challenges here and abroad will be a benefit to us all. Along the way, we're helping not only girls and women, but all young people and others face barriers to survive and to thrive. As you've already heard, this initiative began with last year's Rotary International President, Shekhar Mehta, who saw that in his own country of India and in other places around the world, there were opportunities and a need for us to create positive, lasting change by engaging Rotary members in finding ways to empower girls. The response from Rotary members to this call to action was so positive that, as you've heard, RI President Jennifer Jones has continued the initiative. And let me also share that the initiative will continue next year with RI President Gordon McInally. How the initiative is implemented is up to you, based on the particular needs of the community and how your club members and your district want to take part, whether on a local basis or a global basis, or both. The key will be to engage your members in understanding the challenges and how they can be part of the solution. I want to compliment Governor John, MC Jen, and the entire team for putting together this outstanding digital conference with such a wide range of incredible speakers and resources. We have a wonderful day ahead with learning, sharing, and committing to next steps as people of action. Girls and women everywhere want us to value them, listen to them, and partner with them. So thank you for being part of Rotary and for being passionate and purposeful to make a difference. Thank you so much for having me here this morning. It is indeed an honor.
Thank you, Vicki. And I'm so sorry, I meant to switch to this slide. Everybody, obviously, you heard from Vicki as she introduced herself. Thank you so much for that, for those kind words. So soon, at 9:30, in about 15 minutes, we will have our first breakout session. And you all should have seen the individual summaries of the sessions that are coming up at 9:30. You'll now select, or shortly before 9:30, you'll select the breakout room for one by clicking the breakout rooms button at the bottom of the screen and selecting the topic in which you're interested. If you need any help, you can always return to the main room by selecting Return to Main Room, and Marshall will be here to help direct you. And I think that's actually all I had. So we were very efficient this morning in getting through the opening session. So I'd like to suggest a quick break and then have everybody come back, or you're welcome to stay on, but we'll start the breakouts promptly at 9:30 Mountain Time. Thank you very much.
Jen?
Yes.
I noticed the speaker for my session isn't on yet. Is there a substitute coming today?
Nope, they should be joining any moment.
Okay.
Yeah. And Marshall, if you want to go ahead and end the recording, that would be great.